Hello, I'm Tiffany Green-Williams, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator. Joining me is the goddess of DC, Rayceen Pendarvis.
Bam! Greetings and salutations all.
Joining us is Brooke Pinto. Welcome, Brooke.
Thank you so much. Great to be here with you today.
Thank you for joining us, Councilmember. Before we talk about your 2024 re-election campaign to represent Ward 2's residents in the Council of the District of Columbia, please tell the viewers a little bit about your background and who you are.
Well, I am thrilled to have the chance to be running for re-election this year as the Ward 2 council member. I am almost complete with my first four-year term as the Ward 2 council member. Before that, I am a lawyer. I had experience doing tax litigation, working in the DC Attorney General's office for Rayceen as his Assistant Attorney General for Policy and Legislative Affairs. I've worked for a number of small businesses, yogurt shops, hospitality establishments, and a number of organizations in DC and elsewhere. And I have loved my opportunity to serve the residents of Ward 2 and the District of Columbia, and hope that I'll have the chance to continue my work and build upon the progress that we've made over the course of the next 4 years.
Awesome. Thank you. Rayceen, you have the first question.
In addition to being the Democratic Party nominee, you are the incumbent running to serve your second full term. What would you say are some of your most noteworthy accomplishments as a DC council member?
Well, I came into office at a very interesting time. In DC, we were going through the heat of the COVID-19 pandemic. I was elected about a week following the murder of George Floyd. And so we were having many important conversations as a city and a country about what the future of equity, racial equity and inclusion really looks like. And so much of what I was focused on my first couple of years were really about recovery, of getting past the issues related to COVID, making sure that our hospitals were open, making sure that our kids could get back into in-classroom learning, making sure that our small businesses weren't closing down. And so everything was really in an emergency mode. I'd say over the last couple of years, I am most proud of our work to introduce and pass my public safety omnibus called Secure DC. Since the passage of my public safety emergency bill last summer, we have seen a reduction in violent crime by 33%. And we have really done a whole-scale review of our public safety ecosystem, making sure that we're filling many of the gaps that we see. I've also done a lot of work around downtown recovery, introducing my bill, the Recovery Act, which the tenets of around conversions of vacant office-based buildings in downtown to housing, to affordable housing, to retail, restaurants, hotels, really make DC the leader in the country at these types of conversions, because we started doing this and talking about this when I introduced my bill in 2021. And so that work I'm very proud of. And a lot of my work to support district residents. We have the second lowest literacy rates in the country here in DC. And so 2 years ago, I started a literacy task force in partnership with our Ward 2 State Board of Education rep, Alistair Chang. And that task force really proposed a series of recommendations to improve literacy. And this year I was able to put funding in the budget to make sure that those investments can come to life so we can teach our teachers how to teach reading. So I'd say everything from safety to economic recovery and reinvestment, and then investment in our children have really been the missions that I have been most focused on and most proud of our progress on.
Very nice, quite a list. Well, what would your priorities be in your new term as DC council member?
So as I mentioned, violent crime is down 33%, but we have a lot to do to improve safety in our city. The homicides that we're still seeing are far too many, and we're losing far too many young lives. I am the chairwoman of the council's Committee on Judiciary and Public Safety. And so I'm going to be really focused on making sure that our violence prevention programs have the supports and infrastructure they need to be successful. I'd like to see a merger of our violence interruption programs with the Office of Attorney General's Secure the Streets program and the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement's VI program. We're going to be doing a lot of work around ensuring that our young people have opportunities to succeed, whether that's with paid work opportunities after school and on weekends, and additional pipelines for internships and career readiness, because all of us, regardless of our age, need to see a future for ourselves, to believe in, to be really participatory in our community around us. And that's really important for government, to rely on our partnerships with our community partners, and making sure that those opportunities are able to be seen for all of our residents. And then I'm going to be continuing a lot of our exciting work around downtown revitalization. This is a really important time for our city. Our tax base and all of the programs that we fund in our city rely on a robust downtown economy, and the revenue that we get from our commercial property taxes. But we know that it's not a diversified use right now. We need many more residents to be living in downtown, and we need affordable housing options to be present for people downtown. And so I'm really excited about our work in that space, that I'm going to be focused on in my next term as well.
Nice, thank you for sharing. So as the Democratic Party nominee for DC council member, who is, as of this recording, running unopposed, there is a presumption that you will be reelected. For additional context, there was a low turnout for the DC primary election, and nationally, voter frustration and apathy has been widespread. Please share why it is important for Ward 2 voters to vote and why you think they should vote for you.
Well, thank you for that. We have seen different trends throughout DC and throughout the country, especially in our primary elector system. And I think it is so important to make sure that every resident is registered to vote, who is eligible, and gets out their vote. One of my favorite pieces of this role is that I get to meet with DC residents every single day across Ward 2 and across the city, and hear from them about their ideas to move our city forward. And that has empowered me to do much of the work that I and my team have been focused on. It doesn't just come from my imagination, it comes from partnership with DC residents. And so showing up to vote is a really important part of that process, to make your voice heard. I'd love to see you at the polls. It was wonderful on primary election day to get to interact with so many of the voters who came to vote. I went to every Ward 2 polling location throughout all the day and was rotating around, and that was a great opportunity. But voting in our city is really, really important. And as we see our voting rights under attack nationwide, I think it is a right and responsibility we should all hold dear. And there's a lot at stake on the ballot this election. We need to elect Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. And I hope that people show up to vote for the vice president to make sure that she is the next president. And I hope I can have your support as well to continue my work as the Ward 2 council member.
Thank you for sharing. Rayceen?
And when does voting begin?
So we have many opportunities to vote in Washington, D.C., which is great. We're a real leader in the country when it comes to voting accessibility. And so vote drop boxes should be open by October 11th. Around the beginning of October, every registered voter in DC will receive a mail-in ballot. You don't have to order it. It automatically comes to your home. You can drop off your mail-in ballot at any of the vote locations throughout the city. A full list is on dcboe.org. But then early voting will start on October 28th and last until November 3rd. These are early vote centers throughout the city. You don't have to just vote in your precinct or your ward. You could vote in any location throughout the city. And then election day, of course, is Tuesday, November 5th, where you can vote in person or drop off your mail-in ballot. You could also, of course, mail in your ballot through a physical mailbox. That's always an option too.
Thank you. Rayceen, did you have any other questions before?
I do. What do you like most about being a DC council member?
I think the opportunity that I have every day to work with District of Columbia residents and help them solve their problems. Whether that is a problem that's reconcilable within an hour or a day, or something that takes many months of partnership and collaboration. I love this city. I love the residents of our city. We have such a brilliant, engaged, diverse community here in DC, and having the opportunity to work alongside our residents in solving some of their biggest problems is the greatest honor of my life.
Amazing. Okay, please tell our viewers how they can learn more about you and how to support your campaign.
Well, thank you. I love that question. So campaign website is brookepinto2024.com. So that's BROOKE Pinto PINTO 2024.com. And you can get involved there. We'd love to have your involvement if you want to volunteer for the campaign. You can make a contribution there. I'm doing the Fair Elections program, which means that all contributions are limited to $50 max. I don't accept any contributions from corporations or PACs. And if you're a DC resident, that contribution gets quintupled by the government, who gives 5x of that. So if you give $5, it's matched with a $25 contribution from the Fair Elections program. If you give $50, it's matched $250 from the Fair Elections program. So it goes a long way, any donation that you can give, to help us spread our message to Ward 2 and throughout the city about the important work that we are doing. And please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or ideas that you'd like to see move forward in our city. I would love to hear from you. You can also follow us on social media at Brooke Pinto DC. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and hope to get you involved and engaged and hear how I can better serve you.
Wow, I didn't know some of that. Thank you. Okay, well, viewers, please look in the description below for links. Thank you for spending some time with us, council member. We enjoyed having you. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me. Great to see you all.
To those watching, please follow Team Rayceen on social media and subscribe to the Team Rayceen YouTube channel.
And viewers, thank you for watching.